Thank you for your welcome, and it's good to be here with you this evening and to share some of my work. I'll be reading mainly from my new book. I'll begin with the title poem, which gives the book its name, Picasso, I Want My Face Back. And I had a year's residency at the Tate Gallery some time ago, and I wrote one poem in the voice of Dora Maar because she was Picasso's muse, mistress, and lover, the main woman in his life for about 10 years. She inspired his Weeping Woman, his iconic painting, Weeping Woman, and she inspired a lot of other paintings by him. Her face really haunted me, that particular painting, because it was done in Picasso's fractured cubistic style, that haggard look about her. And I wanted to give that face a voice. So the poem is in her voice, and I was trying to be truthful really to the voice of the poem and where it would lead in a very kind of psychological way, because she was his muse and mistress for about 10 years, and when he left her, she suffered a mental breakdown and received electric shock treatment. So I have her reclaiming her face at the end of the long poem. But I'll just read for you a section. She herself was a very complex, intriguing woman, an artist in her own right. She was a famous photographer, part of the Surrealist movement in Paris at the time. And when she became his mistress, she hardly went out. She saved herself for him, staying home just in case he called, so that she could sit for him, and be his muse. And I was very interested in the kind of politics, the male-female politics operating within that relationship, because I read a whole lot, different books about that relationship. But as I said, I didn't want to bring in all those things. I just wanted to be truthful to her, kind of, to the voice of the poem. Weeping Woman. They say that instead of a brush, he used a knife on me, a savage geometry. But I say, look again. This is the closest anyone has got to the pain. Green knows me, not the green of new shoots, but the ghastly green of gangrene. Yellow knows me, not the cheery yellow of the sun, but the sickly hues of this war's putrefaction. Blue knows me, not the boundless blues of sky or sea, but the blues of the singer's deepest sorrow. Mother Dolorosa, this grief has got to me. Under the poise of my red hat, I hear, as if from a great distance, my own stifled scream. Even my hat mocks me, laughing on the inside of my grief. My twisted mouth and gnashing teeth, my fingers fat and clumsy, as if they were still wearing those gloves, the blood-stained ones you keep. What has happened to the pupils of my eyes, Picasso? Why do I deserve such deformity? What am I now, if not a cross between a clung and a broken piece of crockery? But I am famous. People recognize me, despite my fractures. I'm no Mona Lisa. How I'd like to wipe that smugness from her face that still captivates. Doesn't she know that art, great art, needn't be an oil painting? I'm a magnet not devoid of beauty. I'm an icon of 20th century grief. I'm a symbol of compositional possibilities. My tears are tears of happiness, big, rolling diamonds. Lies, tricks, transformations, and mine has been completed. From lioness to goddess, from goddess to doormat, from eagle, raven, swan, into silly duck, flapping about all day in case he calls, in case he needs me to sit still. Whereas before, I would have gone off like a cat, hearing folks say, with an indulgent laugh, "There goes Dora Maar, wearing her camera like a medallion against her heart." Everything he touches with his Midas hands turns, of course, into fortune. One still life can buy a house. A bicycle saddle with handle inverted becomes the head of a bull. A freshly thrown vase, its neck stretched, broken, becomes a bird startled into being. Each time my own face cracks, he rushes to pick up the pieces with pencil and pad, storing each fragment, each briny drop already pearled for some future need. Women, he sighs, they're suffering machines. Still, if anyone had told me that one day I'd be sold by Sotheby, that painting of me and my cat, going, gone, my regal posture, my surrealist hat, 95 million under the hammer, never in my wildest imaginings, never in my heart's rebellion from before or beyond the grave, Van Gogh rolling in his, would I have believed that. Conquistador of the flesh, my stallion, my bull, my Cortez, invade me now with the sperm of your colors. Let your blue periods and pink periods find my deepest red. Conquistador of the flesh, I am your new world, your Malinche, assisting you. Picasso, I want my face back, the unbroken photography of it. Once I lived to be stroked by the fingers of your brushes. Now I see I was more an accomplice to my own unrooting, watching the pundits gaze open-mouthed at your masterpieces, while I hovered like a battered muse, my private grief made public. I'm no longer there, trapped in that chrysalis that distorts my cherished mirror images. I'm no longer framed, imprisoned in that cocoon that winds up the silk of my spirit. I'm beginning to feel, Dora Maar is beginning to feel her new, incipient, still imperfect wings. There will always be a weeping woman. Although I've left, she remains, weeping her Hiroshima of tears. She's weeping for the mother who shares the bread of a burnt mouse among her children, as Christ would have shared the Last Supper. She's weeping like John Clare for the little horned snail, suddenly crushed out in its trail. All the sad and broken things of the world, the small hopes that will never be noticed or nurtured by anyone. When there is no more eye water, when the heart has curled up tighter than a flower or a stone, you'll turn to find in her a deep and constant source.